Hey there team, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my overview of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. What an absolute ripper of a game. It is a bit slower at the moment. January doesn't really have a lot of new releases. It's a good opportunity for me to go back and dig out some games that maybe I haven't necessarily featured on the channel, but are still fantastic classics that you may have slept on or you haven't gone back to in a while. Anyway, this is one of my favorite games of all time. It's on deep sale at the moment, so it's probably worth checking out, and I highly recommend it. Easily one of the best Far Cries, which is funny for something that's kind of a spin-off side, 3.5, like it's a mid-sequel type game with a bit more of an absurdist 80s meme-fueled foundation that actually has a lot of heart. And going back for the couple of hours that I'd spent for this video, I'm unironically reinvested all over again. So yes, I can't sing the praises high enough. It's worth going back to. It's worth checking out if you slept on it. Maybe from afar you look at it and go, oh, I don't know if this is for me. You should try it, at least on Scarlett's recommendation. If you are part of the, you've got the older boys like me that actually grew up on all the 80s action movies, but there is a sort of modern, new wave, retro revisionism. You can see it with all the fluoro neon colors in this, and you get that with a lot of music these days as well. This kind of revival of 80s culture seen through a modern lens. This game is absolutely for you. I believe it's Power Glove did the whole soundtrack from scratch. It's unironically worth having in your Spotify. But it leans into all the sort of Terminator type dun-dun-dun-dun-dun staples. Everything that you can think of from Aliens through to RoboCop that is referenced. I mean, the main character is voiced by Michael Biehn, who's Hicks from Aliens. He's got a Terminator eye. He's got a bloody cyber arm and gets put together during a montage with awesome music and voiceover, like trailer guy type music. And his kit varies from like a shotgun out of Terminator 2 to the RoboCop's pistol. And yeah, it follows the framework that was laid out from Far Cry 3. It sort of serves as a mini Far Cry 3 functionally, whereby you move across this island, clearing out outposts, fighting Omega Force, and you can see it has a very striking art style. You can see where all the outposts are because of the Omega getting blown into the sky like a skylight. Sort of like Elden Ring in a way, I guess. One of the core sort of antagonistic components of the open world are the blood dragons, and they're essentially these big, wild animal components that roam around. You can use hearts that you pull from the enemy to use as sort of bait to position them and throw them around and create chaos. One of the core things of taking down an outpost, much like, Far Cry, you can sneak around, you can disable alarm systems, but if you sort of get into the master generator and pull down their sort of force field doors, it'll auto-summon blood dragons in to have a bit of a biff, basically. So it's sort of a chaos simulator in that sense, and then you watch these Omega Force Daft Punk looking dudes fighting literal glowing dragons that shoot lasers out of their eyes. If it sounds wild, it is, but it works. It works incredibly well. It's all underpinned by a pretty basic but very 80s story. I mean, you just kind of go straight into the hot zone with a sidekick, your Rex Power Colt. The Cybernetic Warrior Mark IV or some crap like that, and then you're in there with Lieutenant, T.T. Brown, and they're just going for it. They've got the bloody Predator handshake in the cutscene. In fact, like, the game opens for gameplay in a helicopter on a minigun with Long Tall Sally playing as you just light up a base. It is an absolute action romp, and it nails it from top to bottom. It's kind of a cure for your just jaded position on game development, losing the thread these days. I mean, beyond just Ubisoft, which is having their own problems, I still enjoy a lot of mechanical components from modern Ubisoft games, even though I'm not allowed to. But I tell you what, as far as from catering to the player base and their public image, they are very good at shooting themselves in the foot and doing stupid things like pushing quadruple A games. But anyway, I don't want to lose the plot. Yes, the triple A games industry has some very big problems in modern day. There's a melancholy going back to this because this game is the ultimate case of we actually understand gamers. This is made by gamers for gamers. It's very much a cure for your apathy, and it will make you crack out, your 80s movie collection on the back of this. But yeah, it is very staple for an 80s motivation. You're essentially hunting down your previous leader, the Cyber Commando that's gone crazy and spun off, and there's a really weird world. Canada got invaded or something, or blown up by nukes. I think Australia got invaded as well. So it's just got this zany backstory of World War. We're pushing back the Reds and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I can't understate how strong the soundtrack is. The gameplay loop is pretty distilled. Like, mechanically, it's still Far Cry. But essentially, you're just going to follow the bouncing ball from mission to mission, while, clearing outposts. There will be some sort of hunt and rescue missions. Go rescue X hostage, go hunt X bloody cassowary or whatever. It's all got flavor text, which is a bit painfully meta and cheeky. I mean, your rock is replaced with a D20 dice that you throw to scare people off or to distract people. So, and on top of that, like the whole tutorial section literally rolls the dice, as it were, on being meta at how shit it is. I mean, hey, that's an interesting, bold decision. I kind of think you should never really do that. Wink at the camera and tell the player that your gameplay is intentionally shit, no matter how cheeky or funny you think it might be. So yeah, you have a tutorial where it makes you jump up and down and your dude says, oh, for fuck's sake, let's get this on. Yeah, okay, it's cool, it's clever. It doesn't actually outstay its welcome, so it's probably one of the better examples. But to give you an idea, it does in between this excellent, playing it straight, 80s revisionism is sort of a kind of meta layer, even with the tip screen, which varies from, firing your bullets at enemies will kill them, to if you roll a D20 on your distraction die, orcs will attack the enemy or for a crit or something. Anyway, so that's a little bit hit and miss, but in the scheme of things, it's easily overlooked. So you do these little side quests, which are pretty, copy-paste, and from them, they will unlock components for your guns. Like, my pistol now has a monstrous suppressor and laser targeter and all that. It's all pretty wild. The game is designed to go at a fairly fast clip and only be so many hours, so it might be just the palate cleanser that you need right now. And for a couple of bucks, it's kind of hard to argue. It's still worth it full price, or whatever the full price is, for sure. What is that, like 20, 25 bucks? But yeah, if this soundtrack doesn't absolutely get you G'd up, along with all the visuals and just the gags as well, I don't know what to tell you, brother. So, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, highly recommended. What a blast it was going back to it. Now I'm going to have to play some more today, I think. Anyway, team, might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.